Hey folks, so today's video we're reviewing cooldie7s tower. Two things that I just need to quickly go over. First things first is we've got our Halloween stone pack giveaway. That'll be up in this top corner, like that top corner up there. And just click on that and leave a comment and you'll be entered into it. Simple as that. And then the other one is I've only got two other towers to review right now after cooldie7s, so please reach out if you want to get a review so I can add you to the list and get around to you as soon as I can. Usually I'll reach out to you to let you know, to send me stuff across so I can review. Or you can just reach out to me on Discord as well. And then I'll let you know on Discord rather than on the YouTube chat comments, just in case you don't pick up my comment or reply. So without further ado, we're going to get through this as quickly as we can. This one's going to be a quicker one because where cooldie is right now, there's only a few things that I really have to recommend, but we're still going to go through everything. So first things first, you're currently at 73.65 trillion. You'll have gone up a little bit since this, but still. You're going to be catching up to me pretty quickly, in my opinion. You're at a point where you're actually a little bit better than my main account. This is my baby account on the side of the screen, by the way, in case people haven't figured that out. So with your stats, you're actually really good place. You've made sure to do all your milestone runs, and then you're currently farming tier 10. I would suggest doing some tier 9 runs as well, and that will just basically just compare against each other. Use Project Rend, which I do recommend, or use the tower run tracker online. That's completely fine. Just basically see which one's actually better for you. I mean, you might still just do your tier 10s anyway, just because that's better time for you, but just see what's actually giving you better coin per hour at the end of the day. So you said that you're bouncing between champions and platinum right now. I know you're going to be sticking to champions soon because you've got an upgrade coming. I don't know what you're saving your gems up for, but I would suggest using them for the upgrade. And then you said your golden bot, you're aware of the foot gun, but you're using G-Comp, so you can't really sync it, which is fine. And you plan to max it to 5 seconds downtime. Just be careful with this, because there may come a time when you decide to not use G-Comp, and you might not be at 5 seconds cooldown at that point, and that may become a foot gun at that point, so just be careful with that. Like for me, for example, I'm very close to not using G-Comp for my farming runs. I don't have golden bot, so it's not an issue, but it is a case of as soon as I have perma black hole and perma chronofield for like using the perks, I'm going to stop using G-Comp. I'm going to go back to using black hole digester. So be mindful, your plans may change and it may become a foot gun at that point. With your Guardian, completely happy with this. There's no real suggestions there. I can see that, as I said, your tier 10 is at 317. My tier 11 is at 314. So you're actually higher coins bonus than I am, which is why I believe you're going to catch up to me, no problem. Now, perk wave requirement, that's completely fine. A lot of people do that. I use the increased max game speed because I feel like having the game running at max speed for the whole run is actually better for coin per hour than getting the perks earlier. I know you've got cash bonus banned here. Everything else I'm completely fine with having it banned because obviously you're doing an ob devo, so free up chances understandable. But cash, are you maxing out your enemy attack level skips before you spec into like your blender build at the end of your run to extend it? If the answer is no, do not be blocking cash, because you want to get your enemy attack level skips max as soon as possible in the run to get that extra longevity. So if you do take that out, I'd suggest putting in the ranged enemies do 3 times damage, because you're not quite at perma black hole. So once you're at perma black hole, then you don't need that one in really, but for now I would say get that cash bonus out of there and put that in, and then maybe put something else in instead afterwards, but just basically play it by ear with that one. Then these ones don't really matter because obviously you haven't got them unlocked, so don't worry about that. Relics, you've got some good relics, but obviously I can't really suggest on what to get because it's obviously just get all the relics that come through really at the end of the day. So your workshop, I can see here that you are into, as you said, an orb devo-esque build. One thing that I'm going to go over as well is with your attack range. Your range is fine, but there's something that you're doing which is kind of hindering your progress. So I'm just going to make a suggestion there, but we'll get into that when we get there. your damage is quite high for a for an Orb Devo. You would get better coins per run if you were at 0 to start off with, and then level it up, making sure that it's not trimming enemies off from the get-go. Now, with that said, it is a case of, obviously, it's your choice. I know you said you're more of an EHP hybrid, so you don't necessarily have to set it at 0. There is other things that you've got to invest in which are not necessarily needed, but that's more in your enhancements. So here with your defense, you're actually quite high. Like you're not far off catching up to me, and I believe you can catch up to me very quickly once you get a few things. I'll just quickly jump back in here because that didn't mean to close it. So health regen's at 5,500, which is great. And then we've got basically your landmine damage isn't maxed out, which is, it's really hard to max out, I know that. Your wall health and wall rebuild are at a nice point as well. You do have free up defense, but you don't have your attack or utility, which makes sense because you obviously don't want your utility going to attack and then pushing your attack up before you want it up. But as I said, like with your enemy attack level skips not being at max, if you can't max this out before you turn to a blender run, definitely you want cash bonus in there. So one thing that I'd say as well is potentially, well, yeah, because you're doing Orb Devo, things don't work the way that my brain goes through, which is fine. So it is a bit weird that you're doing up your free defense upgrades, but as you said, you're more of a EHP build. Your enemy attack level skips are only 209, so obviously that's something that can be worked on. And then health level skips, you're an EHP, that doesn't really matter. We're going to go over the ultimate weapons in a moment. There's just a few other things that I want to go over, which is basically your enhancements. So a respec will help here, in my opinion. So if you're doing EHP build, you don't really need to invest in your damage in that at all. If you want to, that's fine, keep it in there. But with the way that your build's going, it's going to go full on EHP, so it's probably better to spend it elsewhere. And then here, it's another thing. So Defense Absolute, in my opinion, is not worth it at this point in time. So you could use that elsewhere. But if you do want to use Defense Absolute, that's completely fine. It can help, just nowhere near as much as it could potentially help in the future, depending on how it's reworked. And obviously, once it's reworked, you can always just invest back into it. It's not a problem. Landmine damage, I am a believer that if you do not have inner landmines and you're not invested in it, landmine damage is completely pointless. The damage on landmines, just unless you're in a damage build as well, is just not going to help you at all. You do not need to invest in these to unlock the other ones after. Like, you can just keep investing in health plus and health regen. You do not have to invest in anything other than what you want to invest, and it'll still unlock the next ones, right? Again, this is completely fine, really. Just invest in what you need to at the end of the day. Econ is econ. And then we'll go back here now to your ultimate weapons. So a few suggestions. If you do want to go into a damage build, Chain Lightning is going to be your friend. Focus on that. I know you said short term you want to get your Black Hole permanent. You're not far off it. So that's fine. And then you want to get your ultimate weapons perma as well. Your Econ ultimate weapons perma as well. That is definitely a long term. And then your longest term goal is like gold box everything, which that's everyone's goal at the end of the day. But what I would say is get your golden tower naturally synced to your death wave. And I know it's expensive to have those two naturally synced, right? But it's worth it, because that means you don't have to use Multiverse Nexus, and it means you can use your Primordial Collapse in your farming runs, and that's going to help you so much. It's not even funny. So definitely sync them up. And then, speaking of econ, I would say you want to invest into your Golden Tower bonus and duration, because they are quite low, but obviously your cooldowns are important at the end of the day. So if you did want to go into damage, as I said, you would want to go down the Chain Lightning route. Health, the only real thing to do for health with your ultimate weapons is obviously Death Wave. I wouldn't invest in damage. I would honestly just invest in quantity when you can and cooldown. The reason that I don't really care about the damage is because, in my opinion, you're better off having the actual like Death Waves going off constantly. Like, the more it's going off throughout the whole time, then even once your death wave can't kill things, it's still going to be giving you the health going forwards, right? Um, so that's the ultimate weapons. Now cards, a couple of suggestions again. I'm assuming you're just doing the buy 80 cards every event to max out at this point. That's what I'd do, and then the rest would go in modules. That's my opinion again. So your Orb Devo, I'm happy with these for Ultimate Crit and Super Tower. I'm questioning why they're in. I know you've got 16 card slots, right? But like, and you don't use free ups, which is fine. But I'd say put in crit chance. That's going to increase your ultimate weapon damage anyway, and also means that your normal weapons, if they kill with a crit, they're also going to give you that additional crit coin increase there. And then you've got Berserker and damage. Again, are they necessarily needed in an EHB build? You could be putting in like Energy Net to give you more time to hurt bosses, Landmine Stun for a bit more crowd control, Second Wind so that when you do pop, you get the couple of extra waves out of it. Potentially, it could actually survive, help you survive for longer, depending on what killed you, and then like it could get you to the next boss wave, for example. And then you can put Demon Mode in as well if you're actually active near the end of your run, so that you can pop that to get yourself an extra 10 or so waves. You've got Fortress in here, and I question Fortress because, again, I feel like Defense Absolutes doesn't give you that much, but it's something that maybe you can test, taking it out, putting in Energy Shield, see which one actually helps. Especially once you've got full crowd control, Energy Shield might actually just give you like one or two more waves. And at the end of the day, like Fortress may be giving you 0 waves, so just something to check. It's not necessarily rework everything, but see if taking a few things out and putting other things in might actually be a bit more helpful. And then your tournament cards, you've got your Landmine Stun in there, so that's fine. Slow Aura, Health Regen, Second Wind, Energy Net. So you've got your Demon Mode and everything. Super Tower, I can understand, but I feel like maybe put in something else, because at the end of the day, Super Tower's only effective whilst it's up. If it's down, it doesn't do anything. So without the mastery, which makes it perma once it's maxed, it's not really doing much for you, in my opinion. But everything in here is pretty much okay. I'm happy with it, to be honest. Then with your mods, you did say that you do have enough copies to get your PC up to Ancestral 1 star, which is amazing. You just need the fodder and shards. You don't need any shards, you just need fodder to get it to Ancestral 1. Shards obviously just help for upgrading the level. So a lot of people like this mod. I've not really tried it out, so I don't know. I'm happy with everything you've got. Obviously, your G comp is holding you back, but at the end of the day, we know RNG in this game. As I said, Multiverse Nexus would be nice to be replaced. If you want to go down a damage, you do have your Dim Core in there, which is nice, and it is ready to go up to Ancestral. It looks like, or it's quite close to going to Ancestral anyway. I can't remember if it's ready to go to Ancestral at this. Sorry, not Ancestral, Mythic. I can't remember what it is. Like, I can't even remember the stats and everything. But yeah, anyway, if you do want to go down damage, you do have Dim Core there. And then if you want to go down EHP, obviously you have your Primordial Collapse, which is ready to go up to Ancestral. You just need the fodder. Obviously, I'm assuming you're going to be re-rolling your substats. In the regards to substats, so I would say you do not need the black hole size 10 meters. Because as with myself, I'm going to actually pull up my own tower just for a demonstration on this. Yeah, that did flicker just because I needed to pull this up. So I'm not going to make it any bigger, but I've got 50 meters and my range is maxed at 69.5 meters. So 69.5 meters with the 3 black holes, 50 meters is enough. Because you saw that went into that area which is like not really covered, but it still gets pulled. So like the actual area of effect comes out to here with 50 meters. And it definitely covers if anything comes up to your tower. So you don't need to worry about needing that much range unless you are actually going to increase your range slider. So I am completely happy with you re-rolling this to get something better. For example, you could get the Golden Tower bonus or anything like that, really, just to make this a little bit better for you. You would potentially need to put another 2 meters on the actual ultimate weapon itself So that is one thing to keep in mind, but then you wouldn't need to have a space for a black hole size because it's not needed. It might even be better to put in a black hole cooldown or black hole duration. So you've got cooldown here, so duration, get duration in there, and then that will make that closer to perma for you, right? So bear that in mind. Other than that, your modules are pretty much in a good place, and obviously try and get the defense higher on this, right? And then with your labs, I see you've already got like everything at 3 times, which is good. Again, not far off me. I've just got everything up to 4 times, but I think the econ on the 4 times is not quite there. So it is just a case of push these up to 4 when you can. I suggest doing 1 hour at a time because you can micromanage a bit more rather than having it at the 24. Because obviously you can use the speed up, you can put it on to like auto renew, for example. So if I just go into here, you can just queue speed up, and then that'll use it constantly. And then you can see, okay, when it's getting down to like 50,000, I need to put it back down to 3 times again. Just a suggestion. That's what I do, and it works well for me. With your labs, I'm not going to go through and go, oh, this one, that one. It's very difficult to do that. So what I'm going to do is basically I'm just going to go through so people can see what these are, and then do my suggestions of what you need to do to level up things. So in regards to the way the labs work, I'm happy with what you're researching right now. But the way that I typically do it is I have one for health, one for modules in general until that is all maxed out the way. One for, I usually say damage if you want to do like a bit of damage or you wanted to get into your damage, or that damage one can be like health regen, so like 2 health ones, and then one econ, and then one that is basically a lab speed and then lab coin discount and stuff like that. So like the general ones that you kind of need to get done out of the way. So with that said, econ wise, I would say your spotlight coin bonus is quite low considering your coverage that you have on your spotlight. Your spotlight is quite invested in. So definitely get your spotlight coin bonus. I'd say up to like level 16 over the next month. That will give you a nice buff. And then Death Wave coin bonus. I'd say again that's at level 14 right now. So get that up to like level 17. I'd say. And those two would take you about a month. But then obviously your golden tower duration again. So focus more on the actual like ultimate weapon labs rather than the coins per kill bonus. Because your coins per kill bonus is quite high anyway. It's at level 63. Then if you do decide to go down a damage build, I would say it's definitely worth you investing in your crit factor because your crit factor is much lower than everything else. I wouldn't invest in your damage per meter or your range really, because if you're not using range to the max, then damage per meter is useless. I would say that it's I think much further down. Yeah, so you showed that your range is like minimum, so that's not a problem. What I would say as well with the attacks is put your shock multiplier up and your shock chance, I believe it is. Yes, shock chance. Put them in. They're going to give you a lot of damage as well. And then if you do go into damage, the ultimate weapons, as I said, invest in your chain lightning. Quantity first. The quantity needs to go up, and then into the damage. But then also your spotlight damage. That is worth increasing because, as I said, you've got quite a nice coverage at this moment in time. So it'll be worth to pump into that a bit more. And then with defense, so I mean you've kind of got it on track with your defense. Don't get me wrong, like you're doing your wall fortification. I'd say over the next month you can get your wall fortification up to like level 29, but also with you doing two like health ones because you're doing your enemy attack level skips. Max out the enemy attack level skips, of course, but like do Deathwave health. That is going to be a big boost for you as well. But also pay attention to how long it takes for your Deathwave health to actually max out. Because obviously, if it's not maxing out before the end of the run, then there's no point of pushing it up. But definitely look at pushing it up and then try and get your Deathwave happening more often. I can see that you do have most of the important ones as well. which is nice to see. I know there's a few people that haven't. So yeah, you see your shock chance and multiplier are there, but definitely max out your shock chance as soon as you can, and just push up the multiplier to be about the same. And then you can take your multiplier higher. Don't get me wrong, but about level 15 is good for both of them. I'm pretty sure it's level 15 that chance maxes out. And that's just if you do want to go into pushing over to the damage side of things. You do have some like armor stuff. I'm pretty sure stripping. You haven't got death wave. The armor stuff isn't that important, in my opinion. So that's my suggestions for them. It is quite a lot to go through. Not gonna lie. Then also another thing is with your regen. Wall regen is actually going to be nicer for you right now than health regen. So put wall regen in, say to like level 16, and then go into your health regen for a bit, and then basically obviously swap between the two. But your wall regen is much lower than your health regen, like stat wise, what it's giving you. So get your wall regen to like level 16, and then pump up like 4 levels into your health regen, and then 1 level into your wall regen, and then 4 basically bounce 1 and 4. But first, you need to get your wall regen up to the point where it's actually worth doing it like that. And then just having a look. So it might be worth you getting another ban perk just so you can ban a couple of things. Also, auto pick ranking is always a nice one to get into. So maybe do a little bit in here if you can. You said with your bot, you're just doing it to max anyway. And then that's back up to the top of there. And then you haven't invested in these, which is fine. Most people don't until they're much further down. It may be worth unlocking a core effect ban. I know it's obviously 3 days left on it still, or just shy of 4 days. And that's fine. Like for me, it's about the same as well. I've not actually researched it. I keep going to put it in and then putting something else in. So don't worry about that. You'll get there eventually. So as I went over before, you want to get permanent black hole first. Definitely do that because that is going to be great for your longevity in runs because it will mean that your primordial collapse is getting the most out of it, right? So at the moment it's 65% decrease in damage. It goes up to 80%, which is actually massive. Because if you think about it, right? So 65% damage is going to be, let's say they do 100 damage, right? They're going to be doing 35 damage per hit. Once it goes up to 80, they're doing 20 damage per hit. That's just shy of half the damage compared to like being at Mythic. So that's going to be a big jump up for you, and it's going to really extend your runs, especially once you've got your permanent black hole. Long term is Econ Ultimate Weapons, which is sensible, and then your overall gold is gold box everything, like everyone. And then that's everything. Yeah, so that is literally everything. So this is still like a 20-minute video, but I've gone over everything that I need to. So thank you for watching. If you do want any more advice, just reach out to me, leave me a comment, and I'll get back to you. And I reply to all comments on the video, so by all means, anyone else can leave a comment. And then please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you all next time. Ciao for now.